CHGO White Sox Podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app today and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome in to Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson, the host of the CHGO White Sox Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We have the full CHGO White Sox crew. Vinnie Duber, back from Australia. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. Diehards, right? It's Diehard newsletter?
Diehard News.
Tomorrow.
What's the name of the newsletter?
No, but tomorrow is going to be the...
Vinnie Duber's White Sox grab bag is going out tomorrow, yes.
Okay. And that's Diehards only, right?
That's for diehards. That'll be holiday themed for all you fun folks out there. Yeah.
So there you go. You're getting a Vinnie gift tomorrow. And also he has a brand new article out about Andrew Benintendi.
Right now. Well, it's about the White Sox offseason.
Right.
Andrew Benintendi is the picture.
Yeah. And the man in the middle is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerall23. He is our CHGO White Sox community leader. And we have today a package from the 108 that I told Herb not to look at, and he has not done so yet. So we'll see what the guys from that sent us. We will also be diving into the biggest knockout punch of the 2022 season. And then we also have some Carlos Correa news that we'll get into. And along with that, some Andrew Benintendi stuff that I'm still going into because I feel obsessed at this point.
You've got a big corkboard on the wall at your apartment with a bunch of red string tied to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this has made you insane.
Yeah, I mean Charlie Day and It's Always Sunny smoking cigarettes in the mailroom. You know,
there is no Pepe Silvia.
Right? Yeah, Carol. So Herb, I mean, before we get into the Carlos Correa stuff, apparently they opened something poor. Let's see if the 108 sent us something poor as well. Did not know that they were sending us anything.
Christmas time, presents.
I was sitting in Studio B and is it? Oh, how sweet of them.
Boxes. I don't know why I didn't send one to Vinnie. You were in Australia. You just got back from Australia, Vinnie.
It's right in my name.
It's 108
ornaments. Oh, there we go.
Cute. Look at that. And they light up too. Look at that. Oh,
wonderful.
Wait. I think I got to pull the
Festive.
pin. Should I pull the pin?
Yeah, pull the pin.
Oh, it was off.
Yeah, it's good. It's in the bottom. Just turn it on.
There you go. Look at that.
Good. It turns red and green.
Oh, I like
Very
that.
nice.
Oh, I like the Sox. I like the Sox batter guy with the Santa hat on.
Yeah,
That looks good.
Red,
Isn't
green,
that
blue.
nice?
Just keeps on turning. Go and get yours from the 108.
Shout out.
Good people.
And it's all pretty.
That's
all
a quality
we
product.
got a tree back there that we'll put it on. Thanks, guys. Herb was guessing skull caps.
Oh, I was thinking skull caps. Like they
For winter, to prepare us for Thursday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. This weather. Every year I'm like, would I still live in Chicago? Would I still live in Chicago? My team sucks. The weather sucks all the time. And every year I get a reminder. December, it's bone-chilling cold, to say it in a word. Rest in peace, Lester Grobstein.
Bone chilling. It's a spooky October.
I always think about, like, all right, December sets the tone. And if it's already, as Sean says, in fall, this cold, that means that January and February are going to be unbelievably cold. So it's very depressing.
Guys,
and no Sox Fest either to warm us up. Damn it.
Herb, look out the damn window. You're in Chicago. Of course it's going to be cold.
It's fall.
It's winter 6 months out of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I remember in January walking in the, what's it called? The Arctic, when it's like negative 34, what were we, polar vortex?
Polar vortex.
Yeah, I remember walking down Michigan
great
Avenue,
band name,
my
by the
friend.
way.
Yes,
Yeah.
Polar Vortex would be a sweet band name.
We're going to get some of that on Friday and Saturday.
I'm telling you right now, winter is never going away. You're going to be sitting at Guaranteed Rate Field in the upper deck in about mid-May, freezing your butt off.
Move to San Diego. If you're really hating
work.
it that much.
That doesn't work too tough.
It's easily said there, Sean.
Hey, I didn't. He did it.
If I can grab the family and tell them to move to San Diego too, that'll be pimp. I'll do it.
I'm here.
That's the only thing. It sucked.
You and Matt Carpenter out to San Diego.
Oh God! And Sean almost died today when Matt Carpenter signed that deal because he wanted him as a White Sox
Good deal.
second base.
Wanted him to
option.
do what?
Exactly.
It's not that expensive. He's cheaper than Leary Garcia.
Bring his mustache comb over.
You can't play second base.
Doesn't matter.
Is Andrew Vaughn going back to right field?
Good.
To make room for Matt
Hey,
Carpenter?
maybe Matt Carpenter could go out to right field. What if Oscar Colas isn't good? You'd have Matt Carpenter. I don't know. I just hit home runs.
You just want
Andrew Benintendi isn't going to hit home runs, so Matt Carpenter will.
You just want major league competent players that have shown the power to hit home runs and happen to bat from the left-handed side on the team. I get that,
Right.
but I didn't think Matt Carpenter had a spot in particular. If they just had a nebulous spot like DH Part 2, yeah, sign Matt Carpenter. But otherwise, he's got no spot with the White Sox.
Well, and AJ makes a good point. He's actually not cheaper than Leary Garcia because there's a $3 million signing bonus, so it brings him up to 6.5. So he's Leary Garcia is $1.5 million cheaper. And, Southside Mando saying, give me Jazz at second base. I don't think they're trading Jazz Chisholm. So I don't think.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
And that will cost a lot. Yeah. Right. You think trading for other players would cost a lot. Jazz Chisholm, while he's kind of a disruption apparently in the clubhouse of the Miami Marlins, is still an all-star and still young enough to command a lot of talent back from the White Sox or any team he gets traded to. And also, remember, they don't have Don Mattingly there, which those two used to clash because Don Mattingly's old school, Jazz is new school. So maybe they have a new leash on life for Jazz Chisholm, as he's one of their only great offensive players they have there. Not great, good
you hire a guy named Skip, and that guy's obviously going to be fun.
It's really funny. How many Major League Baseball managers have ever been actually named Skip? Because that's what they all call. That's what they all call every manager. Yeah. They all call him Skip. So now, when they address their skipper as Skip, they'll actually be talking to someone named Skip.
And he'll take offense. He's like, hey, it's manager to you.
That's Mr. Schumacher.
Yeah, come on now. You don't call me by my first name.
Is his full name? His real name's Jared.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's like a third or a second, like Jarrett Jr., Jarrett the third,
Jared Michael Schumacher.
Yeah. Skip, Chip, those names.
Maybe in a change of events, instead of calling him Skip, they'll just call him Jared. That'll be his nickname.
What a great nickname. I never had a nickname. People tried Andy for Anderson. Really didn't work. Sean's pretty short. It's only 3 letters. People would give me Shawnee, but that's actually longer. Huh? 4 letters. My bad. My name is 4 letters long.
Maybe they didn't give you a nickname because they wanted you to grasp how many letters were in your actual name first.
Understand. Yeah. Hey, I don't grasp a lot of things in this world. I don't think there was any manager. I'm looking up for major leaguers named Skip. And I think that there's players. There's Skip Lockwood, Kyle Skipworth, Skip Pitlock. That's a great name. But Skip Gwynn. Yeah, I don't think there was any manager. So I think he is the first skipper. So
how about that?
Shout out to Skip Schumacher. We mentioned moving to San Diego. You guys want to move to San Francisco, possibly play shortstop?
If they're going to give me the same deal, yeah. My back's all right. My legs hurt. My hamstrings suck. Can't throw to first. But otherwise, I'm good shortstop.
There you go.
Can't hit.
The AP is reporting that the San Francisco Giants postponed a news conference today to introduce Carlos Correa after a medical concern arose during the All-Stars physical. And Saris of The Athletic tweeted out the press release from the San Francisco Giants and was like, they're usually very communicative. They usually provide a lot of detail. They're very good as a media operation. And he tweeted out the press release that said the press conference has been postponed. So not a lot of information, just that something arose. I think Susan Slusser said that it is not a back issue, which has been an issue before for Correa.
If it's not a back issue, that's good for him, but back issues persist. We could see players who have back issues early in their careers continue to have back issues all the way throughout their careers. We've seen Joe Creedy, here with the White Sox, had back issues with the White Sox, and then when he left to the Twins, back issues pretty much sidelined him for the rest of his career. Anthony Rizzo with the Cubs had back issues every single year. He would go to Cincinnati, sleep in the hotel bed, and be out for days because his back would act up. So it's not a good thing for a 28-year-old to have back issues, even though Susan Slusser says it's not. And if you're canceling pressers for medical issues, red flag. Mm-hmm. I'm sure this deal will get done. Otherwise, that's hell to be paid right there. And a bunch of other teams would be like, I'm going to look past this, and I'm going to sign Carlos Correa for...
You think?
X amount of dollars, yeah.
So you think Minnesota would keep its offer for $285 still on the table?
I believe so. I don't know about that. Maybe the offers change a little bit, but I'm thinking teams are interested, yeah. Even the Giants are probably interested. If he fails the physical, can't make the $350 million for the however many years to 13 years, I'm sure they'll void that contract out if he doesn't pass the physical and then try to work out another deal with him because there's too much talent there.
Well, my initial thought is you're not scheduling a press conference before you do the physical.
That's dumb.
No. They didn't do it, right? Why would you do that? So...
They thought it was a press conference coming.
Maybe he's just sick, guys.
Okay. Hey,
right?
I don't know.
Is it possible?
He's got to poop?
I guess. He's but why would... they not?
Is it possible he went to a holiday party and now he's under the weather a little bit?
Said that if
right. Why wouldn't they say today's press conference has been postponed due to illness?
I feel like he would have said that.
What's up, Lawrence?
Yeah, right. HIPAA.
But if it's, you can just say illness. You don't have to say like how
No, that's true. I'm just throwing it out there. It seems very weird that you would schedule a press conference before doing the physical, but B, signing on the line.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, people are expecting now that this is all going to go away because of what might or might not have happened today. Like, they didn't do all this. They didn't schedule the press conference before doing any of this stuff, right?
I don't know.
There could be a bad organization out there in San Francisco putting their eggs before they hatch. Is that the thing, the idiom?
Yes.
Placing your eggs.
Counting their chickens before they hatch.
Counting your chickens before they hatch. So, yes, I can see that. The media was expecting a press conference, and this deal is not official because he didn't pass the physical as yet. So, yeah, if he just has a regular illness, I would just say and have the people say, yeah, Carlos is a little under the weather. We'll have this next day or some other day. But that just says the press conference is canceled, and that leaves postponed. That leaves for other thoughts to get into the mind instead of something. If it was an innocuous type of thing where he's gonna get signed, you could say, okay, no smoke here, no fire.
I'm trying to find a report that I saw earlier, and I'm sorry that I wasn't as prepared as I should have been. That mentioned there was some issues that were similar to this with J.D. Drew, a client of Boris as well. I can't find the specific contract, whether this was his,
it does say in there, doesn't it,
Red Sox
Kevin,
one?
that there is a...
Yeah,
so came up during the physical.
Yeah, so one person confirmed Tuesday's conference to welcome Correa was put on hold because the sides were waiting the results of testing. A second person said the medical issue was flagged during his physical.
What are you doing scheduling a press conference before he passes the physical?
That's bad.
It's
bad media relations.
But yeah, is that just today's landscape? Like, the news was already announced.
Probably.
So, like, they just started going full steam ahead because...
But, yeah, let's put it this way. I get where, like, listen, the Andrew Benintendi signing is not official, right?
No.
The White Sox have not announced it. It was probably reported before he took a physical, or if he's even taken a physical yet, But nobody's scheduling any press conferences or announcing that there's going to be a thing, you know what I mean? You would think that the Giants would at least handle their business the way it's supposed to be handled, independent of what today's reporting looks like. You know what I mean? People have, quote unquote, known that Carlos Correa is going to be a Giant for a week now, but you'd think the Giants would handle it more along the official
and
protocols.
Alex says they're waiting on a test result that was discovered during the physical, but again, I think your point's fair of why schedule it, and maybe it's the Christmas schedule, like they had to do it now because certain people wouldn't be able to make it on later days in December.
But think about this: like
Cubs just had a presser for Bellinger.
Yeah, and they had one, I think, for
Tyone.
Jameson Tyone. But if we were sitting here, and this is not the Giants, this is the White Sox doing this for Andrew Benintendi, and it goes the same way. We're killing the White Sox, right? For scheduling a press conference.
Not until you know what's going on, obviously. But yes, my big question is, why are you scheduling a press conference before all of this matters are resolved?
Yeah, but if you're at 35th and Shields waiting for Benintendi to talk and they say, oh, it's canceled, we would be like, man, what the hell, man? We're firstly wasting our time. Secondly, how about you make sure he can be a White Sox in 2023 before we have this grand announcement and present him to the media?
Are you saying something? Should we be nervous since they haven't announced?
No, I think the White Sox are very careful. I might disagree with their media relations, but I think they err on the side of caution more times than not.
Yeah. I have Alex also mentioning the Karras-Levert situation that he wanted me to bring up. Karras was a part of the Donovan Mitch. He was in. Now I got to make sure that he was in Brooklyn. And I mean, I'm bringing up Karras-Levert on a baseball podcast, so I don't think people are going to care too much. But he was in Brooklyn, and he was a part of the. He was traded to the Pacers in a 4-team trade that sent James Harden to Brooklyn, so he was a part of that. But then a MRI revealed a mass on his kidney. It did save his life.
Yes.
So maybe it's
could be a good
like
thing.
That. Right.
It could be a good thing.
And it was removed. He was expected to recover, and he returned to the court and scored 13 points. So congrats, Karras-Levert. Now he's in Cleveland. So maybe it's something along those lines, and they'll be able to get it figured out. But again, maybe it's an illness. But I feel like they could have gone into a little bit more detail because they scheduled poorly. It's on them. They caused their own mess.
We'll see what happens.
Yep. Let's get into a break, and then we'll talk about the knockout punch for the 2022 White Sox. We got to let you know about Green Ridge Farm. They're a knockout punch in their own right, especially the meat sticks.
They're a knock worst out punch.
Hey, there you go. The meat sticks come in chicken, Black Forest beef, and flavors like jalapeno cheddar and spicy chili. Green Ridge Farm is a Chicago local meat and cheese company offering you a better all-natural option at snack time. They are the makers of all-natural deli meat, sausages, and their famous meat sticks. These meat sticks are perfect for tailgating, happy hour, school lunches. I would die for one right now. These all-natural meat sticks are hardwood smoked for 8 hours, and with 16 grams of protein per stick, they make a perfect post-workout snack. If you haven't tried them yet, you don't know what you're missing. And these Green Ridge Farms meats are delicious because they are made from recipes generations in the making. Being all natural, they deliver a flavorful alternative at snack time. I always wave hi to the deli meat at Jewel. So whenever you're in your Chicago local grocery store, make sure you're checking them out in the refrigerated section, also at Costco and Sam's Club. And right now, when you order any 3 meat products at greenridgefarm.com and include a pack of meat sticks in your cart, those meat sticks will be free simply by using the code CHGO at checkout. Green Ridge Farm, simply natural meat. And next up, we have ComEd. They always say that they are in our neighborhood, and I saw them that one time on my street. It was very, very exciting for me while I was taking a walk in my neighborhood. The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities we serve save money and energy. ComEd offers a free facility assessment that can find energy-saving opportunities, whether it's lighting, HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs, and these can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they could start working on immediately, and each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. So don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For saving tips and to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz. That's ComEd.com/poweringbiz. Okay, so let's get into the knockout punch. Yasmani Grandal was recently on the White Sox Talk podcast. Sorry to bring up an ex, but you're still
not a problem.
Still friendly with Chuck. So,
I saw Chuck this weekend.
My guy. Yasmani was on with Chuck, and he was really opening. The only time I really heard Yasmani in a different setting like this, it was when he initially signed with the Sox, and he was on with Danny Mac and Danny Parkins, and he was just not opening up. Brand new people, 2 different people on a radio show that he doesn't know, and they were trying to get him to ask questions, and it was just going nowhere. Completely different tone here. Yasmani has settled into Chicago, working out with Paul Goodman of the Blackhawks, and he had a lot of different things to say. Pretty interesting. Let's start first, though, with the knockout punch. He said the biggest punch we had was when TA went down because he's our guy. I know that was a big punch in the gut because as TA goes, we go. I think it's been that way for years. As soon as he got hurt, it was like, man, that's the knockout punch. And I didn't really know what you guys would have thought. What was the knockout punch looking back in 2022? I think there was several moments where we as fans were just like ready to rip our hair out. But what was the final blow to this Sox team where they weren't going to win the AL Central?
They were so close. On August 17th, they woke up that day, I think 61 and 56, a game behind the Cleveland Guardians. They had just beaten the Houston Astros at home 2 games in a row. You remember that. They started off and they won those first 2 games. There was the Yohan Moncada drop in hit over second base that scored the winning run, I think, in the 8th inning. That was a great day. The next day, they're a game behind the Cleveland Guardians with a chance to win versus the Houston Astros. They lose. It wasn't like a drop-dead game where they lost late in the game. They just got beat. Framber Valdez outdueled Michael Kopech. And then the next day, you see the 21, I think the 5 ass whooping the Astros put on them. That game, like you see the 6-game over 500 record they had before, or the 5-game over 500 record they had before August 17th game started. And then they just fall off the table. Won only 20 more games after that. And subsequently, you get the loss to the Baltimore Orioles, where you got the Adam Engel drop in the 9th inning for the last out, home run subsequent next pitch. Then after that series, I think immediately after that series, they come back home and they lose and they get swept by the lowly Arizona Diamondbacks. So I think, you're at the highest of highs and you're only a game out of the first place with the Cleveland Guardians after beating the World Series champion Houston Astros, the eventual World Series champions Houston Astros. Then you lose the next 2. You go to Cleveland, you win 1 of the doubleheader they had to make up, and then all hell breaks loose out there in Baltimore, where you lost most of the games this year versus Baltimore, and that season just went down the tube. August, we thought we were going to get August Abreu. We thought we were going to get a resurgent White Sox team because they're playing no ones, really, except for that Houston Astros team. No, it didn't happen. I think right there the Houston Astros stole the White Sox heart, because instead of going 3 out of 4 versus the Astros, you go 2 of 2, and it kind of feels like a loss because you lose the last 2 instead of winning the last 2.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think if you'd have to circle a specific stretch, it would probably be that starting the moment, that angle moment, followed by those results against Arizona. And you'll remember that was it for Tony La Russa, too. So not only do you lose those 3 games, you lose your manager the next day, and he does not come back to the dugout the rest of the season. So I know fans had their own opinions, but you got to remember what the guys kept saying that they thought about Tony La Russa. To see a guy that you've been with for basically the entirety of 2 seasons all of a sudden up and go, and it's something scary, something, health issues that you're worried about this guy that you've been close to for the last couple of years. I think all that combined definitely had a big effect in terms of when you can look at the season kind of going away. Obviously, that Cleveland series, after they did get hot there under Miguel Cairo, that Cleveland series in September where, a really hard-fought game in the first game, and then the next 2 days it was just light switch off. It really seemed like for the White Sox. But it's funny, I see some folks bringing up the Josh Naylor game early in the season. And listen, that took place early in the year. All teams, whether you win the World Series or finish with the worst record in baseball, are going to have games like that in a year. But in saying that, I might point to a moment that happened early in the year, and that was the injury to Eloy Jimenez, because already by that point, injuries are a storyline, right? Injuries are, Yohan Moncada hits the IL the day before the season starts. Then Lucas Giolito has to leave the game on opening day and goes on the IL. You're already down Lance Lynn for a few months. You're getting these little...
A.J. Pollock, after this first 2 games where he started off hot,
yep.
Then he was eventually going to go on paternity leave, but he gets hurt right there, too.
And you're talking about little things that certainly you can overcome. These are regular IL stays, with the exception of what we saw from Lance Lynn, obviously. But then Eloy, a guy who you're counting on to help carry this team offensively for the 2nd year in a row, suffers a months-long injury. And it's just like, oof, how are you getting back from that? Because the story of 2021 was that they overcame all those injuries that they had to deal with, and they ended up winning the division in spite of what happened. To ask a team to then do that again, that exact same thing again, because we saw guys go down for months at a stretch. The injuries just piled up, and I think the Eloy one was the big one. Even though it happened early in the season, it really It really set the tone kind of for what the health situation was going to be like for this team, and it never really stopped coming. Obviously, Luis Robert dealt with a bunch of different things over the course of the year. And then I think Yasmani's probably right in pointing out that TA, the guy who they need in that lineup every single day for so much more than just hitting singles to the other side. Everything that he provides from an energy standpoint. We heard when he went down that even in this year where things were not going right and they were searching for fire and a spark all year long, he was still doing the same stuff that he had been doing in years prior. Might have been a little harder because the results weren't coming. But, I think it was Liam Hendricks who told me that TA was still the guy who was trying to go around and fire everybody up and make sure they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. And then when you get hurt and you get removed from the equation, you can't really play that role anymore. You can't, because you're not there to do it with them. You're not there to do that work with everybody. So everybody kept asking for someone to hold the White Sox accountable. Maybe Tim Anderson was doing that in a way, even if the results didn't reflect, the success of that work. And so when you take him out of the equation, everything really fell apart, even if the house of cards might have come crashing most of the way down by that point.
I just want to disagree, though, because, yes, like the TA point was really big, but the 10 games after TA goes out, they go 7-3. Like, that was one of their better stretches.
But how do you keep it going, right?
No, right. Let's look at the timeline, though, because, like, August was very much where the wheels were coming off. So April 23rd, Eloy goes down. That was the one you were mentioning. The next day, they lose the walk-off to Buxton in Minnesota, and the losing streak extends to 7. So not only do you lose Eloy, but, I mean, just in the midst of it all, I mean, that's when Dallas Keuchel was getting blown up for 11-2 against Cleveland. Just not good. I think there was a game against Tristan McKenzie where they had 17 balls in play, but, like, 1 hit. Like, it was just not going down for the Sox. May 24th, Robert lands on the COVID list, and then he goes, the Sox go 2-4 in his absence. Then Robert deals with vertigo on July 15th and misses a long period of time.
And right after he starts getting hot right there. Remember the home run in Minnesota? I was like,
it's their first Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Or was it that?
Yeah.
First Grand Slam, but also I think it was the first one in a 3-0 count.
Okay. That I mean,
because they just weren't attacking in those moments.
Yeah, and so when he went out, and that was just so, like, weird. Was it vertigo, or was it like?
Yeah, it was
vitamin deficiency.
Something
he
like
had a
virus.
Had a vitamin deficiency, and it was affecting his eyesight and making him dizzy as well.
Yeah, so I mean, we were referring to it as vertigo, but yes, that was the full in-depth part. But then August 3rd, Jose Abreu started off to a great start. He had 2 home runs in the first 3 days. Then he didn't want to hit one until September 13th. I thought August 3rd was his last in a White Sox uniform. It did come against Colorado, but Jose Abreu starts a 163 plate appearance homerless streak.
So you said his last home run as a White Sox came as the Colorado Rockies?
And his first one did, right?
Yeah, his first 2 came versus Colorado Rockies. The same game.
Let me fact check. But
and the same game where Avi Garcia got hurt, and they tell them to stop sliding head first. Diving head first. Yeah, I remember that game.
That one was in Colorado. This one was at the G rate, though. But, yeah, it was a home run that
left field line.
Gave the White Sox an insurance run in a 3-2 game in the 8th inning off. Anyone's memory good? Justin Lawrence.
I was going to say Chad
TV
Cool.
star, former TV star Justin Lawrence.
My cousin.
Trevor Lawrence's cousin. August 3rd, though, Joey Lawrence.
Joey Lawrence, yeah.
Joey Lawrence. Not Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback.
Also my cousin.
August 6th, TA goes down and is lost for the season. August 12th, Robert injures his wrist sliding into second base against the Tigers. And then was never really right. August 25th, we see Luis Robert struggling with his wrist. We see Adam Engel drop a ball down the left field line. We see Gunnar Henderson hitting a home run. And we see the White Sox seemingly against a playoff team try to take a series and then blow it. And the wheels come off a little bit. And then the 28th, they continue their woes. They're swept by Arizona, LaRusche's last game. And then September 20th, it's the start of the 8th game losing streak. I just have to say it's that September 20th spot. And I know that, you know, it's pretty clear because then they go on the 8th game losing streak and they're knocked down so much. But, like, even that Naylor game where someone brought that up, after that Naylor game where they lost 12-9, they were 3.5 games back. You go to when they defeated Cleveland in Cleveland when they made up that rainout when we were supposed to do the live watch-along on August 21st. If you go to that day, September 15th, they win 8-2. They're 3 games back. So the difference there, like, I mean, they were still keeping the same pace. Like, that Naylor game.
They did it all year.
Right.
I mean, and that Naylor game happened so early in the season. I mean, teams have bad starts and end up making the playoffs.
Right.
Like, that's fine. Yeah.
But there was also, like, the point, like, if they won or did well against Cleveland, like, TA might have came back. So they might have been able to fight off that TA injury if they were still able to keep that lead. And then Jake Diekman comes in. And then, 7 straight times. So if they had a little bit more success, if they go 2-3 against Cleveland in that September 21st and 22nd stretch, they might be able to get TA back at some point, and we'll see what they were able to do for the final stretch. But they were really never knocked out, in my opinion, until they were truly knocked out by that losing streak.
It's just I think the point about TA is a good one, and it lines up with what we heard from the guys at the end of the season, right? That was like it was something. It's not about the math of the standings, right? I mean, this team was supposed to be a lot better than having to do math in the standings to figure out how far they'd be back. It was about them and their mentality throughout the whole season. And when you lose TA, you lose that mentality.
Yeah, and I can
see
that.
Real quick, I laughed out loud because of my man Jack saying this is depressing as fuck. I'm sorry.
I mean,
my bad.
What can we do about this White Sox team? The whole year was kind of yet we just need a little bit. This offseason is kind of like the White Sox regular season. It's like, okay, we're supposed to be doing something, right? We're supposed to be the best team in the Central, and why are we not making these moves? Why are we just middling right now? And then we sign Andrew Benintendi. It's like, yeah, here we go. And then we're like, yeah, it's not enough. We need more. We need more to compete with this team. And as Sean said, like the 3 games out after the Naylor game, and then the 3 games out after make-up Cleveland game. So we've been in that malaise the whole time of White Sox baseball, going from up, going down. And Vinny's like, it was just one bad, boring-ass line. And I can agree with that, but there was just so much like depressing things in that damn timeline he just put up there, and reliving it. I feel you, Mailman Jack. It just hurts. To research that August 17th game, which wasn't a bad game the White Sox played, but I see the pinpoint. Like, that is where the White Sox like, okay, we got our first 2 games. We don't necessarily need to do anything, because the next game they got absolutely torched by the Houston Astros.
AJ Pollock made that catch though. And that's why he's going to get $8.5 million.
This is why. This is why the reactions to this. This is why we are being, we're being suggested by our leaders here that maybe next week do a nice season or year in review show kind of thing. And I'm like, we need to do something that isn't that, because you guys aren't going to like that. So we've got something a little happier for you. You can play a little fantasy land. So there's a nice tease for next week.
We got some good ideas. All right, Jake, I didn't mean to cause a stir. Lawrence seems very concerned. So Jake, would you mind hopping on the mic just because you were part of the discussion? Jimbo said the September comeback versus the A's was a godsend for those of us who were still invested. My favorite memory of this season. You hold that streak there that they win 3 straight, and then the Sunday where they lose is basically the knockout punch for the Sox, because Tony La Russa came back for the Dave Stewart return. Yeah. I just didn't know if you were so passionate about the take, so I just didn't, because you also had a beef sandwich on the line to me, and that was a very important start.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. Like I'm someone who tries to be as hopeful as I can and as optimistic as possible for as long as I can in a season, and I totally understood where all of you were coming from a fan standpoint, or Vinny following the team, day to day. Like, there was a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of downs from a fan's perspective because the expectations were so high. I just saw the talent, and I think what Vinny hit on earlier with injuries, that's the thing. Like, the health wasn't there, and I thought, well, maybe it could all come together. And if Tony La Russa stays away, I know that's not the real reason, but if he stays away, then maybe, just maybe, this team pulls it together and get to the postseason and magic can happen. That's where I was coming from with that.
And then he showed up to
he had to show up for one day, and it ruined our bet, because maybe the Sox would have won that, and maybe the Sox would have kept going. I don't know.
Yeah, if they went 1-7 in that 8-game losing stretch too, I think you would have gotten it, because we bet 20 wins and they got to 19 from the August 29th stretch.
Yeah, but you guys also lost because you had to do every one of those shows that last week.
We get paid. It's all right. Thanks for joining us, Jake, on last minute notice.
We've got a hot race, by the way, for the best comment of the show so far.
Okay.
Because our guy Mailman Jack is up here referencing X-Men, which I always enjoy, and then our guy Jimbo is cryptically adding subtle Green Day references into tweets down there, or into comments down there. So keep them coming, guys, and we'll see who's got the best one by the end of the show.
Is the adamantium the X-Men?
That's what Wolverine's skeleton is covered in, is unbreakable adamantium. Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, what players need it?
All of them.
All of them? Okay. All right. That's fair. Final thoughts here on knockout? You're still sticking with August 17th here with the Astros?
Yeah, I mean, just that. I think that was where the heart went out. Like, you get beat by the Astros, and you go back to not only you lose a game to the Cleveland Guardians, as they, I think, beat the Tigers that day, but the Twins win that day, so you go all the way back to 3rd place. And then you never really recover, and from there, you just, what is the record there? You 20-25 from then on? Mm-hmm. Bad. And we were talking about the second half, and those stretch of games up until the Houston Astros series were easy. And then the ones after were pretty damn easy, too. I know Baltimore was competitive, but come on now. Baltimore and the Arizona Diamondbacks take 5 of 6 right after that. That is detrimental to your team.
I couldn't think of lowly too. I was trying to think of the word that we used to
called
describe the
D-backs.
Diamondbacks, and that
The D-backs
Jesse
people
got
mad at us.
Yeah, and
because we called them lowly. Truth.
This is the truth.
I mean, you could call us lowly back to the White Sox, which would have been the truth too. Like, but being offended that your way under 500 team was called lowly, yeah, they beat the White Sox. Good luck.
This isn't the pot kettling, or this isn't the pot calling the kettle black. This is, you got to.
The White Sox should have won that series.
Yeah, whatever.
Your answer is technically the right one, Sean. It's that Guardian series there. At the end, because knockout punch would mean the final nail in the coffin, right? But I think if you ask me what on-field thing broke the White Sox the most this year, it's just they couldn't. Those injuries just kept coming, and it at one point they looked up and said, "How are we going to get over this?" I mean, there was a time where they were missing like 6 everyday guys at once, plus a starting pitcher, or 2. So I think they made it work for 1 year. I think it was too much of a task to ask them to do it again, and I would argue that the injury situation was probably worse in 2022 than it was in 2021.
Oh yeah, if Eloy gets hurt again early in 2023, I will feel depressed. I will feel down.
Don't put him in left field in the spring training.
His injury in 2022 was running the bases. He's going to have to do that if he's the DH.
Does he?
Sean?
Billy Hamilton needs to do something.
So Eloy just stands at home, swings, and then Billy takes off.
Until the regular season. I mean, this is spring training. It's training. We don't need to They're scrimmages. They're exhibitions.
But you don't, as I was always told as an athlete, back in the day I was an athlete, you get hurt by going half-ass. The way you don't get hurt is by full ass in it. Yeah. And so that 75% that they were telling everybody, I don't think that's the right prescription. Hopefully they can get these players already right now in a conditioning program to keep their soft tissues intact and make sure they don't miss months at a time. Everybody's going to have injuries. Eloy's going to miss some time with injuries. Maybe it's a 10-game stint. That's fine. That's cool. But don't miss it for months at a time where you're like the focal point of our power. Like, if you're not here, we're doomed.
Yasmani said two final things that he obviously is never going to half-ass anything because he's apparently working out 7 days a week. People usually say, this is his quote, people usually say that they're working every day, but they're only working 5 days. He's on every single day. So he's a hard ass. Also said he's faster, so watch out, Herb. And the final thing was he did discuss when he had dead leg that he could have gotten a surgery. This would have been on June 11th, and it would have kept him out 4 to 5 weeks. He decided to rehab his back rather than get the surgery. Seems like the wrong move, but he doubled down, said he would never do it again, or he would rehab it again. So I mean, looking back on it, like, should he have gotten that surgery? Is it his body we should shut up?
It's his body. He has the choice to do what he wants to do with the body. But anytime a back issue flares up, especially for a catcher, it's never a good thing. And he didn't get it properly through surgery repaired. So I think that injury might not show itself initially, but it's going to come back. He might have back problems eventually, as any catcher would if you've had them before. So, yeah, that's not a good thing to say that you had and you played through it. It's good for your toughness, and I hear that what you're saying about the 7 days a week, people say that, yes, Yasmani Grandal's out there working every single day. Before games, he has a routine. He's kind of anal about it, and that's good. He knows his body, but it's not a good thing that you know your body and then you produce those type of stats last year. So if you know your body, you should know that, hey, it's not giving. My legs are not firing. I can't do the things that I need to do. Let me shut it down. Let me get myself right for 2023 because this season's cashed. And it's admirable that he wanted to come back and help the White Sox out. But his batting and his glove, terrible in the second half.
Well, I think you look to probably that confidence of his stemming from what happened in 2021. Yeah. And granted, he had a procedure done when he was hurt in July there up in Minnesota. He had a procedure done after that, but it was kind of amazing the way he was able to come back from that injury that he suffered up in Minnesota and get back basically after about, a month, basically? Mm-hmm. That's about it, that he missed, and then come back and homering and the walking. I mean, we were talking about a guy who for the bulk of that season was batting under 200, and it didn't matter because he was doing the other things so well. Didn't work out that way in 2022. Obviously, he's a guy, though, that was probably banking on the positive things that came out of 2021 and saying, all right, I know how I work, I know how hard I work, and I know that I've been able to get back from this stuff before. Why wouldn't I just trust in hard work to produce the results that I need to produce? Every year is different, every injury is different, and you can't always just expect the same thing to happen twice in a row.
30 games when he came back in 2021, 33 hits, 6 doubles, 9 home runs, 27 walks, 18 strikeouts, a 1.154 OPS. Ridiculous. Hey, I that's the thing. Is like there's not a better option for catcher. Hopefully he's healthy. That's like the best option for the White Sox, period. It's not to spend money.
It's why they're confident, right? I mean, because they saw a guy who, well, you could say, oh my God, last year with the injuries, he was terrible. Cross your fingers, hope he's healthy. Well, he was injured in 2021, and he did that. Yeah. You know, so I mean, I think they're looking at that guy and saying, oh, he doesn't even have to be, you know, a robotic version of himself where he's, you know, unbreakable. He just has to be that again. He has to be him. He doesn't have to be picture perfect. He just has to be Yasmani Grandal again.
And something he mentioned, too, was that he came back really quickly after he tore his ACL in 2013. And July 6th, I think someone slid into him. I think it was Anthony Rendon. Slid into him. He tore his ACL and MCL, and he came back and was ready for the March 30th opening day in 2014. So, I mean, that was under, a 9-month or so recovery time for an ACL, and he was very proud of the time that he was able to get back and healthy for that. So maybe he knows his body, like you said, and again, hopefully he is healthy for the 2023 season. The Sox are banking on it. We did mention the September 20th game, and Herb and I were there thanks to Game Time. Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. If you ever dreamed of sitting in a seat you never thought you could, either the 50-yard line, courtside, behind home plate, floor seats at a concert, it is possible with the Game Time app. So download the app that 15 million people have today. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on seats you never thought you could buy. The White Sox will be in town tomorrow at 7:30. They'll be taking on the Nashville Predators. You won't find a better deal this season on Chicago Blackhawks tickets. It was created by the fans for the fans, and it guarantees the lowest price. So if you love CHGO and you love Game Time, the best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats to all your favorite events. Got to tell you next about our friends over at Shady Rays. I was wearing my Shady Rays driving in today. They never understood why sunglasses were so expensive, so they set out to change it. I was over in the nice mall. What is that? Woodridge? Woodfield. And
Woodfield. You don't know Woodfield?
I'm a South Sider. That was my first time at Woodfield.
You don't get up on the Kennedy very often?
No. I never have the option to go to Milwaukee or the other way. What's the other way?
Rockford.
Yeah, I don't ever have the option to go to Milwaukee or Rockford. I'm staying below the Kennedy fork, or what is it, a fork?
The junction.
Split
the
junction. Thank you. Anyways,
Kevin works at WGN. He knows things.
Yeah. I do traffic every once in a while.
Traffic and weather on the force
at the junction.
It's always bad in the junction, isn't it?
Oh, it's horrible.
Shout out
any
Kevin
time
Holtz.
of day.
But Shady Rays never understood why sunglasses were so expensive, so they decided to change it. I was at Woodfield, walking around with my Shady Rays. I was getting looks left and right. People are like, "Wow, must be expensive sunglasses." No.
You're probably getting looks because you were wearing sunglasses inside.
No, the Woodfield is outside.
Oh, you're at Streets of Woodfield.
The Streets of Woodfield.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. It was the one mall. It's a big mall.
No, they're two separate complexes.
Yeah, the Streets of Woodfield is just like a outdoor complex. There's an actual indoor
Woodfield Mall is a giant mall, like from the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that. I was outside.
You didn't.
Oh, then you're at the garbage one.
It's in the garbage. I don't know. That's where I needed to go for presents.
Herb, you remember the
a
aquarium that used to be in Woodfield?
I mean, Woodfield is the centerpiece of malls.
There was like a Louis Vuitton out there. There was a Carlos Correa store out there.
Okay.
No? Okay.
But it was all outside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the interior from the outside. Yeah, the Woodfield Mall is an indoor mall. It's not like those janky outdoor malls.
Today I learned. But anyways, there's a couple other competitive sunglasses stores, and I was looking at the price tags, $130, $150, $170. I mean, ridiculous here. Shady Rays has a ton of styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. They have world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and they stand behind their product and told us that if anyone has a problem, they throw profit out the window and do what it takes to get it right. They offer free returns and exchanges. You either love the shades or Shady Rays will pay to ship them back. That's it. And again, one pair at these, brick and mortar stores, about $150, $130 a pair. Shady Rays is running their deepest deal this season this winter. CHGO listeners can get 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com with code CHGO. Buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for as low as $50 to $4. Redeem only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades. And finally, our friends over at Foco is getting you fitted, the sports fan, this year. Chicago, you've already got the best coverage for your favorite teams, so get fitted in the best sports gear around. Foco has you covered from Soldier Field to the front room. Watch my pronunciation there. Front room, north or south side, with hoodies, slippers, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. Get decked out like DeMar with apparel from leaders in sports merch and collectibles. Foco, if you're looking for the perfect gift for the football fan in your life, Foco's got you covered with hoodies to fight that Lake Michigan breeze. So check out Foco.com. That's FOCO.com. FOCO.com, or click the link in the description below. And for all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO for 10% off.
You see, my guy Jimbo's got 3 music references at least today. Corey Hart is a big Shady Rays guy, if you know who Corey Hart is.
Well, the former Milwaukee Brewer.
Not that guy, but I used to play the music for him. I wear my sunglasses at night, Corey Hart, or Never Surrender. You can go there. Canada's finest rock. And also, he brought up
questionable.
No,
I've seen Randy Bachman's guitar in the Canadian History Museum.
Wait,
so there you go.
who just is Canada's finest rock?
Corey Hart.
No,
Loverboy.
no.
Okay.
Best
He also
Canadian band is who? You think it's Corey? Like, no, Deadass.
probably
It's the band.
Rush.
If you're counting them, 4 of 5 from Canada.
Can we do Rush?
I mean, Rush is all up there.
The Triumvirate.
Tragically Hip.
Are fine.
No,
They're not
that's the
better
best
than
Canadian
Rush.
band. No, that's the best Canadian band.
But he also brought up U2, and I think he also had
Yeah.
another.
Yeah, the Green Day. He had the Green Day
reference.
references. He's firing on all cylinders today.
Green Day seems Canadian.
Corey Hart was
Oakland,
the
California.
first home run I ever saw at a Major League Baseball game. up in
Mercy.
Miller
Was
Park.
it up in Milwaukee? The good
Yeah,
one.
he smashed it off that center field wall with that big scoreboard in center there.
He's big and tall.
I have a Corey Hart signature somewhere.
Oh yeah,
Let's try
we're
to find that.
talking about Canada's finest rock. We have a literal Canadian in our comments. He
hey.
says Nickelback.
Yeah,
jeez.
he's wrong.
Yeah, he's wrong about that one. And Teresi did mention the gorgeous ornaments, so thank you guys for sending that over. Let's go to the final thing. I got more Rorschach tests for Vinnie. Hey, since we're doing, therapy here, since we're depressing people out, let's see, let's test their moods here. So let's start with pick 1, Kev. Again, I'm not trying to be negative about the Benintendi thing. I try to do positives right after I was negative. I just wanted to show, again, the reasons why I'm a little bit hesitant. So this is a spray chart of all of his line drives, all right? That's anything with the a launch angle above 10, all right? As you can see, as a left-handed hitter, it's a lot of balls to left field. It's not really a power alley. So, again, I'm just worried about the power here for the White Sox. And, that's his entire career. Let's go to pick 2. I was coping.
I see. By the way, do you want to know what I saw on the first one there?
What?
Bloody sheep.
Oh,
Bloody Sheep. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see it.
Bloody
Yeah.
sheep.
Yeah.
dark.
Also a good band name.
Bloody Sheep is a good metal name. But I started coping a little bit, and I was like, that can't be true. Maybe he was really affected by the monster. Maybe he just wanted to slap balls off the monster all day. This is 2021 to 2022. Really not much has changed in Kauffman and Yankee Stadium, still pushing a lot to left field. He did play in Yankee Stadium a lot, though, right? As a Boston Red Sox, as a Yankee. Here is his Yankee Stadium one. Left center, really, the most part. Like, there is some
He's
to
spraying.
right field, but not a lot to the deep part. Now let's go to pick 4. These are on fly balls only. So this is launch angles of 25 or higher, all to left and left center field. And then I think, is there one final one, or is that the last one? There's one
more.
final one. The final one here.
This is his career
This
fly
is his
balls.
career. Oh, sorry. The last one was 2022 career fly. 2022 fly ball rate, and this is now career fly ball spray, again, all to left field. So I was just trying to figure out if he's pulled the ball at all in the air, and he really never has through his career. There was an interesting piece in The Athletic. James Fegan talked to, I think, his offseason hitting coach, and they stressed, ball in the air. You really don't want to be hitting, ground balls at all, because those are outs. Balls in the air are typically more suited for hits. So there is an emphasis on putting the ball in the air, but it does seem to be to the opposite field with Benintendi. So, I mean, I guess, I don't know if you guys make anything of this. I know sometimes I bring these spray charts and you guys don't take much away from it, but.
No, that last one, Pangea. That's what I thought.
There you go.
No, I mean, I get it. Sean, you're the analytics guy. You're the guy who researches and develops what we're going to be talking about on this show. So, yes, if you had this opinion about Benintendi before he got signed, and it was the guy that you're like, I don't want him, and maybe it was because of these spray charts that you're showing, I don't see a big problem for a hitter who sees the field that he's playing on and the pitcher he's playing versus and says, you know what, the best option for me is to spray it down left field or hit it on right field. I'm not necessarily trying to go for the downs and change who I am as a hitter just because I'm in a short porch Yankee Stadium type of deal. He's the hitter he is, and he doesn't deviate from that. And the stats show that he's a pretty damn good hitter, so I'm not going to question him and his whole deal there. And I guarantee if he sees that pitchers are pitching him inside because they know that he is a guy that tries to get those balls that are over the plate and outside the plate over to left field, and they start cramming them inside, he'll bring the hands in, get the barrel exposed, and try to hit the ball down right field. I know he's a pretty good hitter, and he's young enough to do adjustments. And I think that, yes, your spray chart has some merit, but I think that he is doing this on purpose. It's not just a thing. It's not just like, okay, I'm getting caught on a ball too late, and so I'm spraying over to right field or the left field where he can't hit it to right field. I think he has enough power to hit it to right field and adjust to what the pitchers are doing to him. Well,
here's the thing, Sean. Andrew Benintendi was not signed to hit home runs. And I think that is your qualm. Your qualm is with the White Sox. The problem is, or for your argument, in my opinion, he can still be a very effective hitter for them without being the guy that hits home runs. Now, yeah, I think it's interesting that they talked all about needing to add power, all about how power was the problem. The power outage was why they weren't the same team in 2022 that they weren't in 2021, and their answer to that is to go out and get a guy who doesn't hit a ton of home runs. But that being said, their lineup is better with Andrew Benintendi in it than it was going to be without him in it. It's not like they were going to, promote someone internally to play left field that was going to set the world on fire, and now, oh, God, they got Benintendi, and that guy has no chance. They are an improved offensive team with Benintendi, who is a very good offensive player. He doesn't have, perhaps, that one tool that you were looking for and that I think the White Sox were looking for as being something they needed to get better at this offseason. They're putting their eggs, it certainly seems, in the, okay, full year of health for Malloy, they're going to be a lot more powerful team. Andrew Vaughn plays first base, they're going to be a lot more powerful team. They get what they're supposed to get out of Moncada and Anderson and Luis Robert, they're going to be a much more powerful team. And that strategy could work. Normally, you don't necessarily see that be the strategy from teams. They say, all right, we lacked in power. We got to go out and get a guy who hits a bunch of home runs. White Sox went a different way. I don't think this move is a bad one because he doesn't hit a lot of home runs. And I still think that they're a better offensive club than they were a week ago, thanks to Andrew Benintendi. That being said, you're right. Andrew Benintendi, not a very powerful hitter, but guess what? He's not being paid to be a powerful hitter.
I've come to the terms. If the options were not spending money or spending money on Benintendi, I will take spending money any day, 100%. I'm not upset that they spent money at all. I'm just trying to say, like, what the worries are, and you guys are right. I mean, like, again, there wasn't a savior within the organization coming.
It's different opinions.
Right, and it's just weird. Like, it's like, if you guys want power, could have had other options.
It's not going to be here.
And that's the thing is, like, second base, like, now I think you need to put a little bit more eggs into that person having power or bringing power to the team just because.
But that's hard to do at second base.
That is hard to do at second base. I just think, like, if you were going for the ceiling of, we're banking on Robert to be healthy, we're banking on Aloy to be healthy, why not do that with Conforto as well, just because he has the higher ceiling? So I guess, if that is your strategy, I don't mind putting all the eggs in that basket. But again, he will bring stability, which is fine.
But also, like, if we're sitting here on December 20th and the White Sox haven't signed anybody, like, Conforto hasn't signed with anybody yet. So maybe they're playing hardball, not getting the numbers that they have. And if they're still holding out on Conforto without signing anybody before this Benintendi signing, I think we're pissed. So I'm glad that they got a player, a Major League Baseball player who's going to play above average left field in the fold. They could still go and get Michael Conforto. That can happen. So I'm happy with the player that they got, but I think there's still work to be done. And these comment section right here for our YouTube channel, man, you guys are killing it today. It's awesome. Matthew Lucas, that last one is funny as hell.
What do you say?
A little up. He's pretty much blaming Jerry for Nickelback being brought up on our show.
Oh.
There it is.
Well, it wouldn't be White Sox content without a Nickelback reference and bloody sacrificial sheep. You happy, Jerry? This is where we are now.
I just want to point out, these sheep's not being sacrificed by anybody. when I was in Australia, I'm just back from Australia, as you keep
recently
saying. We learned that there's not a lot of land-based predators in Australia.
Okay.
So there are ones that eat the animals. There are eagles. They've got big eagles, right? And sometimes the eagles swoop down and get a lamb or a small sheep.
Lamb?
Yeah.
God damn. How'd they
scary.
carry them?
They're big eagles.
Oh. They make them different in Australia. Jesus. Sheep are huge. So are lambs.
Yeah, lambs are pretty big.
I mean, I know eagles take little dogs here every once in a while, but man, it's different out there in Australia.
Watch out for Ziggy. Don't bring Ziggy to Australia.
Eagles will go down and snatch up a wallaby too.
Yeah. Wallabies are just kangaroos, no?
Well, they're different, but they look like a kangaroo. They're small.
Okay,
they're small.
So they're small kangaroos. So it's like is it like a horse donkey thing?
No. Well, those are different animals.
Or is it like a pony horse thing?
Pony is a young horse.
Okay. All right. Well, then I don't know anything about animals. Anyways, I can look up stuff on StatCast. Final thing I wanted to bring up, just since 2017, the White Sox are...
It's 4, Jimbo.
What is...
He's on it today, man.
All right.
Take it easy.
We don't need this. We don't need the Eagles. The Beach Boys. I mean, now you're trying to get me...
Eagles.
You're trying to get me on the Beach Boys, and the Eagles suck.
I was referencing Big Lebowski.
I mean, I like
the
the
wrong
Eagles.
take.
Even though
the Eagles are good, man.
Like the song. Hotel California is a terrible song.
Yes, it is. Since 2017,
Disagree.
looking at straightaway and opposite field power, just because that's where Benintendi is, the White Sox as a park rank 18th, 124 since 2017. But then, weirdly enough, they're only 15th for pull home runs from lefties at 274. Great American leads at 377. So I need to get a little bit more into these the stats here and find out a rate basis. But I don't know. Benintendi hasn't played a game yet, so I'll shut up. That's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox podcast. That's Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. And I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Vadan Patel asking, isn't Andrew a decent base runner? Again, he's average about everything. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's a smart base runner. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's a fine defender. He doesn't have a great arm. He has an okay arm. He doesn't have great power. He has fine power. He's got good contact skills, but
don't expect Sean Anderson to be wearing an Andrew Benintendi jersey come opening day,
unless I make a bad bet. Thank you to Kevin Wells, our traffic reporter, for producing the show today. Thank you to Jake Flanagan, our general manager, for giving his White Sox take as well. And we will talk to you tomorrow here on the CHGO Sports YouTube channel.